a standing ovation when he came back in because everybody knew the guy, and it was like a running joke with all the fans. But yeah, like the last few times I went with you and James when you were sitting where you are now, it's definitely different people on the go.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
here's the thing, right? We are talking about StubHub, and you mentioned there StubHub are selling tickets at Celtic now, aren't they?
I don't know. I think they are, but I wouldn't
Dr. J,
know
did you
that.
get your tickets through your mates in Port Glasgow for the game, or how did that work?
I don't want to say how they got my tickets because I don't think I want everyone to know. But
All right,
I'll
they,
assume
pi- they,
that
pi- they
that that
picked up at
that
Peter Lawwell's house when they were having
I
dinner.
think
Okay.
I actually I wrote to Peter and said, "Hey, listen, I'm going to be there," and he said, "No problem, mate, no problem."
Private jet across because you know Celtic do have a private jet now. Is he sending
Yeah,
that
they
for you
do.
or?
I don't think their little ear goes that far, but
All right.
no, but no, we're Atlanta to London, London for a few days, and then hoofing it back. But it's all
Yeah.
on public transportation.
See, the problem with Celtic is they're in a really tough situation right now because some people are like, "Oh, drop." I've said it before. Drop the ticket prices to compete with, like, if you look at Germany, they've
Yeah.
got, but they make other avenues for revenue, so they get stadium sponsorship and all that. Where if we drop the ticket price significantly, then when we look to put the ticket price up again, then people will just be like, "No, no, thanks." Because I was living here in Toronto. I go to the Raptors basketball games and the Blue Jays baseball games where Dr. J, obviously me and you, when you came up, we got the comfy seats, but I'm usually slumming it when I go to Blue Jays games. And I go on StubHub and I buy a ticket for Blue Jays for $3 a time. This is true, $3 for a 500 level ticket. And then I'll just sneak my way down to the 100 level and sit behind home plate. Now the problem with that is that's great. That's great. I love that, and I've been to like about 20 games this year. And it came to the last game of the season. Now, in typical North American fashion, to get punters into the game early and spending money on merchandise and booze, they offered a free bit of gear. It was merchandise. It was like a hat. You got a free hat, Blue Jays hat, if you went to the game last game of the season. Now, because of the increased interest in the game for getting the free bit of merchandise, it was a 42,000 attendance that day. Because of that, the StubHub prices, because of the demand for tickets, went from $3 to 18 to $20. And I remember thinking to myself, oof, I don't know if I want to pay $20 for a ticket now. I've been paying $3 all season. So if Celtic do drop the prices, then when things start going a bit better for Celtic, and hopefully we're progressing in Europe, and I assume Sevco will come back and they'll like bring in people, then it doesn't. I'm not sure it really solves the problem because it's still
Yeah.
going to turn people away. But here's a
Well,
question. I'm sorry.
I don't think I don't think they actually dropped. I mean, I don't think we're actually waiting for them to drop the prices. They did it today, and it did make a difference. They gave season ticket holders a free ticket today,
Yeah, and
or
still didn't get people to
did a
turn
buy
up.
one get one free. Yeah, I mean, the place still
Yeah,
wasn't sold out. So
is
let me
this?
ask you this. So
Yeah,
so let me ask you this. If let's say you're Peter Walwell, let me
yep.
ask you a question. How much money did you make against Hearts for the bottom tier being only open half full, and then did you make more with the against Zagreb?
I don't know. Like,
I mean,
do
did
you
you
think
make any money?
they're making a loss in this with like the stadium being open and all that sort of
No,
thing?
probably not. I mean, they're still getting, probably about 25,000, 20,000.
I mean, how many
Pretty
pies and
reasonable.
Bovril do you think they're selling?
And
Like
still
with
a
this,
lot, yeah, it's
I don't
pretty
know,
true.
man. But yeah, it's not looking too
Yeah,
good.
because Paul, you're right, man. There's a big difference. I mean, pie and bovril is a few pounds here or there, and I can only have one pie before I need Imodium, and especially after the whole issue they had in the boxes with food poisoning at Celtic Park last week. But I mean, just bovril is disgusting, and I don't drink soda, so I mean, what am I going to go there as compared to games here? I mean, hell, we drank some nasty Steve Smiths or something, whatever the hell it was, beer
Steam whistle.
in a green can. Whatever we drank beer in a green can last time we were up in, and we only drank that because we didn't want to drink anything from red, white, and blue can. But you know, it's. I mean, we must have spent, even if we spent $80 on tickets to be in a decent seat down,
Yeah.
padded seats with waitress service, we still spend another $200 or $300 in
Oh,
booze
aye.
sitting down.
When Dr. J came up to Toronto for a game, his lovely wife Stacey, we went to the Blue Jays game in fancy seats. We got like table service, right? It was a pretty good day out, right? But
Yeah,
we were
it
that
was nice.
we did spend about $300 in drink, and we were that steaming. We left at the fifth inning, and I don't even know who they. I don't even know if they won. But even that, I don't even know who they were playing. Can you remember who they were
That's
playing?
correct.
Who were they
No, I
playing?
don't. I don't
we
remember.
were fucking buckled, and then we left we left the Blue Jays game, and then we went down Queen Street in Toronto, which is like pretty much the equivalent of Sauchiehall Hall Street or something like that in Glasgow. And like, if you're with anyone else, you would end up in some dive bar or whatever. And like we are steaming. We're both wearing Celtic shirts, right? We're absolutely minging at the time, and Dr. J blags us into some fancy Spanish restaurant, right? And we're in this like fancy, like really, really like top of the range restaurant, and then we're sitting there in hoops, like absolutely steamboated, and folk are looking at us like, "You two are fucking scum." But yeah, it was a good night out. Good night out. I'd totally do that again. I'll come down and see the Yankees with you sometime. And,
Oh,
we'll
there
do
you go.
that. There we go.
Oh
But yeah,
no, because we go to the Yankees, we definitely slum it over at Stan's. But yeah, it's. But my point is, if you look at the value of coming or as from an owner's perspective or the CEO's perspective, there's a big difference between games here versus games there. Just when you talk about the what you would say the residual value of a customer, I mean, it's a big difference because you're not if there was booze there, yeah, you'd probably get a group of 6 or 7 people to spend 200 or 300 quid,
yeah.
but they're not going to spend 200 or 300 quid on Bravo.
Aye. No,
So that's really reduced down.
they've got this kind of historic view of football fans, and they want this and that. Where the reality is they don't. Like, they don't want the pine bottle's great and all that, but that should be an option with other things. You got to like make it. You got to make the customer experience better for guys coming to
Yeah.
games. There's like, I know for a fact that Peter Lyle does want alcohol sold at Celtic Park. He's not, because he's just seen the money sign. Imagine the money sign, right? Brendan, me, you, and Dr. J go to a game. We take him to Gallagate. We get steaming. We head to Celtic Park. The beers are fucking $5 a pint, or sorry, £5 a pint or something like that. You really think we're not going to go up and like
Well,
buy
you-
a stack of them?
Definitely
Like,
get a couple in. Yeah.
you,
definitely.
you definitely get a couple. The chances are, if like, especially if we were across from Canada as a one-off doing our football tourist thing now, we'd be flying at that
Yeah.
game. We'd be buying. I mean going to an Eagles game, and I was pissed in Philadelphia. I ended up buying a $120 Eagles shirt.
Yeah.
Because they're selling merch. It's really ridiculous they don't sell merchandise in the stadium, but it might just be there's not enough room for it. I don't know. But here's the thing, right? Here's a question I want to ask. Under the assumption that Sevco will be in the SPLFL next year, and potentially Hearts as well, or probably Hearts at the moment, what do you think the boost in attendance is going to be at Celtic Park? Is there people like sitting at home waiting for Rangers to be there, or is it not going to have any effect?
Well, I mean, Rangers. I don't know who they are, so I don't. You mean when Sevco finally gets to
Sevco, yeah, Sevco.
Sevco? Yeah, 5088. Yeah, yeah, of course there are, and there are people that you hear it all the time. If you ever listen to the Snide One, I assume. I mean, it's ridiculous. People like want to complain about it, and then I mean, if they get back, hopefully attendances go up. I guess I 15-20%. I mean, people will assume that the race will be tight. I mean, right now you can't be any tighter than 6 points behind. So, I mean, I don't know what are people are expecting, but I will say this: I'm not all that excited, and the reason is because for me, I enjoy some of the banter, but what I absolutely just deplore is the absolute like child abuse thing, and I don't get that. And if we never played them again and we never had to deal with that ever again, that would make me the happiest person on the face of the earth. And never having to deal with that, just let them go on and on with what the hell they say about it. But it's not banter. And for me, what kills it is it's yes, they're the same fans and they want to believe one thing, but Jesus Christ, I mean, it's just people on our side that want to actually play them again because of what reason? I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me, but they're out there. And I'd say, 8 to 10,000. I mean, if I guarantee this, it'd be 8 to 10,000 on a regular week, and it'll be a full house 4 times a year. They'll sell out both ways.
Yeah, I mean it's different for me being over here in Canada. I'm not in contact with any Rangers fans at all, and I also don't read anything online from like Rangers fans, etc. Because I just try and avoid them as best I can. But then I watched one of those videos of like the independence from George Square with all the Rangers and Muppets doing Nazi salutes, and just thinking, so glad I'm just so far away from that, and I've got absolutely no no contact and no
What are you
link.
talking about? You're not far away from it. Last time I was in Canada, I looked up in when I crossed the border and I saw a picture of the Queen.
Very good, very good.
Yeah.
All right, Brendan, what do you think? I mean, how many thousand do you think that will tack on? Do you think there'll be any significant change in attendance with Sevco in the league?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think we'll get at least a few thousand, but then if you
We
plug
say a
onto
few,
that,
right? How many? Is a
well,
few?
let's say 5,000 extra.
5,000. So how many have we
Not
got? How many?
usually.
What's the average attendance at the minute?
I'd
Anyone?
probably say somewhere between about 20 and 30,000. That's a bit vague.
Dr. J, what you got? Any more? Like, what's our current average attendance for this season? Do you know anything about it?
I haven't. I'm not a Rangers fan, so I don't give a shit what their attendances are.
No. Our attendance.
Our world record attendance, you mean? No, I don't know. It doesn't matter to me. All I know is I know there are people out there that want to see it, and will it show up? Yes, but the whole idea of why they would show up then versus now is crazy. I mean, well, it'll be a closer league. Well, shit, we're 6 points behind. It doesn't make any sense.
I don't know. It's like once people.
Here's your number: 8 to 10,000. There you go.
8 to 10,000. I don't know. I think maybe like about 3,000, 4,000. The real problem is I think when people get out of the habit of going to football, I don't think they re-get the habit just on the basis of Rangers. But anyway, I think we've talked enough about Sevco because we just got. If we're going to talk about Sevco today, we should really just talk about them getting pumped off Hibs. And I'm loving Alan Stubbs doing that. So well done, Stubbsy. But now this isn't anything to do with Sevco. They've got absolutely no link to us. So let's just fucking ignore them. So we'll move on a wee bit. First things first. We did notice that someone brought up that we called Jason Denier last year. So we got last week. So we got the pronunciation completely wrong, as did Celtic TV on about 4 occasions today. So sorry about that. Let's do our top 5 and bottom 5 of the week. Dr. J, what are your top 5? We'll start with bottom 5. What are your bottom 5 things of the week?
Oh, let's see. The bottom 5 things of the week. Obviously, number 1 for me, or number 5 of all of them. Obviously, losing. It would be bad. Losing to Hamilton, that was really bad. Number 4 for me actually is the 2 misses for Guidetti. That's a bottom one. He had the miss against Hearts and then the other one. Number 3, we start to get real serious. I want to know what happened and what Gordon said to Stokes when Stokes just gave that ball to the Hearts player and he remember he hit the bar.
Yep.
At the end of the first half. I want to that was a bad one, but that being bad, number 3 for me, I still want to know what Gordon went up to him and said, right afterwards, like, don't do that again, or do that again, I'm going to bitch slap you, or what did he say to him? Because he was, Gordon was not happy with that one. That was like, woof. Then I think number 2 for me would have been the bad things was the shocking defending against Zagreb. When they had a one player go down the right and all 3 defenders went to him and left the guy wide open and Gordon had to make that save.
Yeah, I had that on mine as well.
Yeah.
That to me is really indicative because one of the comments today that was on Twitter that we were talking about was we're seeing improvements and and what's all the different things are going on and Dial having to find the things and fix them. I'm like, I don't think there was much to fix. You had 2 years in a row where you broke clean sheet records. Yet now, I mean, we're as loose as a $3 whore in the back. It's not good. It's not good at all. I mean, the back 4, woof.
Back 4. Yeah, that's cool. All right, Brendan, what are your top 5? Our bottom 5 of the week?
A lot of them have already been said there by Dr. John, but I'm just going to add on to his bottom low 5. I'm going to put on the low attendances. That'll be my sort of bottom 5. Looking at the half-empty stadium, I'll be quite upset about that. That's the only added extra one I've got for that.
Oh, so you've only got one.
Yeah.
Okay, so my bottom 5 for this: Scotty Brown and Johansen choosing to chase the same guy in that defending. That was ridiculous. The empty stadium. That's another one for just pretty much any game this season. People's refusal to go to the Europa League. It just seems like it's just a non-event. To be honest with you, if you're complaining about the Scottish League and you want into like an Atlantic League and all this and how that's going to be great, when you're playing Croatia Zagreb and Salzburg, I mean, who do you think you're going to get in some league? Because you're not going to be playing like teams from France, England, Germany, Italy or Spain. You're going to be playing these lesser leagues, and that's what we've got. We've got the best team in Croatia coming over to play us, and we scraped a 1-0 win. It was a competitive game of football. We had absolutely no right to win, and we won it. So football might not have been great, but it's a competitive game. So if you don't want to see Celtic playing competitive games of football